the morning that I was weeping in the chair just a couple of days ago, the story that I just told you that unfolded, the revelation overwhelming revelation. There were 7 little boys sleeping upstairs. My son's first sleepover for his 10th birthday was on Friday. Oh, his birthday was on Sunday. But it was his first sleepover. And my husband comes downstairs and he's like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? And I just like, no, I'm fine. Everything is physically fine. I just realized what was happening the last 7 months. And I'm just so sad. My heart is saddened with myself that I was beating myself down, telling myself that I needed to release my pride. God was like, you don't have a pride problem. You have a listening problem. You have a listening problem. You need to listen to the people and the signs and the wonders that the Lord is putting in your path right now. You don't have a pride problem. You don't have an imposter syndrome problem. You don't have a capability problem. You don't have a worthiness problem. You are worthy, you are called, and you are capable. But if you're not listening, you will miss the signs. You will miss the cues. You will miss the nods and the mentions and the I see you, daughter. I see you, son. The sharpening moments in the word, right? I'm going to share this one last piece with you because I think it's important, connected to what we've been talking about. I've been in 1 Kings so long. It feels like so long. Kings is way, like, not something I've ever spent time in. Actually, Lisa Turkers, who runs the She Speaks conference, she does like a devotional per book of the Bible, and she's done a Kings one. I'm considering getting it because I'm sure she'd bring new revelations before even what I found. Again, wisdom. Follow the ones who are wise, who are before you. And I was talking about Elijah and Elisha. There's a lot of prophets conversations in 1 Kings. A lot of the kings are relying on the prophets to share what it is that God has told them, is calling them into, is protecting them from. And I believe that just like in Kings, there are going to be in your life a lot of false prophets, a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. And this is a part of my story on so many layers and so many levels. And so I say it willingly because when I learn, I hold it here and I give it back not only to you, but I give it back to Christ. Like, again, make it malleable for me, Lord. Make me able to use it. Make it a part of the good works that you've predestined for me to do. The pains and the joys, right? The pains and the joys. I want both of them to be useful, and I want both of them to prosper. And so prophets and understanding prophets and not being solely reliant on prophets, because a lot of the kings, they couldn't even, I can't even imagine, they couldn't even go to the bathroom without a prophet. They're like, should I do this? On everything. Now, big things, sure, but this is where I want it to tie back into what I was sharing with you before, connected to wisdom, connected to good counsel. Good counsel. People who perhaps have a better discerning spirit than you, perhaps can hear from the Lord, not necessarily more than, because we can all hear from God, but how attuned are they? It's like a radio station, those dials, the old radio stations, you're like, how attuned are they? Can they get it right to the dial point? Have they put the marker on it and they're like, yep, right here. And they can get there real quick. And so Elijah was a safe, protected prophet who was of God. And it was a time in his prophet experience where Jezebel was killing prophets left and right, killing prophets, and had just come after Elijah himself. She was coming for him. It reminded me of Saul coming for David. Like, she had utilized his counsel previously, and now she's like, I'm coming for her, I'm killing you. Because he was gaining essentially like people representation, power, if you will, right? You see people who are like growing in their community and other people try to come and like squash or consume. That's kind of the common day scenario, right? People start putting bad names out there. They start gossiping. There starts being slander. It's nasty what can happen. And that's what Jezebel was doing. Obviously, they were all worshiping false gods. So I'm in 1 Kings. You guys can go on your own journey through that. But when Elijah it was time for him to pass the mantle of his prophet ability. He was passing it to Elisha. Cute little note so you remember who's who and who's when. Elijah, J comes before S in the alphabet. So Elijah comes before Elisha. Don't get those confused. And so they had very different prophet experiences, walks, purposes. And so when that happened, Elijah was first looking for the successor, asking God about the successor, and also right before that, in a state of fear. And the Lord comes to them and says, what are you doing? Why are you hiding in the cave? I literally just poured fire from heaven in front of all of the false prophets, all the people who are worshiping other gods. I just honored your prayer. We just had a direct download, brother, son. And now you're hiding in a cave. What happened to that power and authority? What happened to no plan B? This is Elijah's walk. He had no plan B when it came to the altar and building the moat of water and pouring water on the calf and the wood and saying, if my God's real, he'll burn this alive. If your God's real, he'll burn what you got. They were doing rain dances. They were doing fire dances. They were doing all this stuff. Never happened, shockingly. One prayer. God showed up. And so he got into a state of fear based on supposed power that Jezebel had, and it put him into a cave. How does all this correlate? Because I believe we have too many Christians, too many Christ followers, too many men and women of God who are being put into caves, voiceless, without reason, and they are doubting every single thing that they have walked through to this point. They are doubting if they can hear from God. They are doubting their anointing. They are doubting the mantle. And as they doubt the things of their flesh, they're doubting the one who created them. Are you doubting God? I was doubting God, and I was inside of a cave. And he's like, why are you hiding there? What are you doing? Why did you come behind someone when I've put you out front? Why did you do that? Now, there is points where we must come behind and take wind. I talk about this connected to the flying V. I believe in that. But have you discerned in who that is and how that is happening?